my name is Hailey and I currently live in Orlando. I grew up in Melbourne, Florida with my parents and two younger brothers. When I was younger, I played many sports. My top two favorites were dance and competitive swim. I've been dancing since I was 3 years old. I did hip hop, jazz, lyrical, ballet, and pointe. I was also in the Nutcracker for about 4 years, which was a lot of work but a lot of fun. I've also been swimming for most of my life. Both my parents were competitive swimmers when they were in high school, and I followed in their footsteps. My best stroke was freestyle. I actually had to stop swimming butterfly because it was messing up my shoulder, which then messed up my freestyle. I did other sports as well. I played soccer for a little while, and my brothers and I would play volleyball, football, and basketball with our friends. When all of our friends would get together, they would make sure the janky siblings weren't on the same team because in their minds it wasn't fair. Besides sports, I really enjoyed the arts. I love to draw, paint, write, act, and bake. I loved and still love picking up my pencil and doodling. Most of my notebooks from high school have some sort of drawing in them. Drawing helped me concentrate on what my teachers were teaching me in class. I actually went into AP Art, and my teacher allowed me to skip a class that she felt was needed for her AP Art students. In AP Art, we had to pick a topic that our artwork would be centered around. I ended up choosing fear. One of my mom's favorite pieces from that series was my Fear of Bugs artwork. I'm pretty proud of that one because it's done in colored pencil. If you mess up with acrylic paint, you can go over it with your mistakes with more paint. With colored pencil, if you mess up, you can try to erase it, but it won't look the way you want it to. I grew to love colored pencil and I eventually branched out into string art and glass art. I didn't do the typical melt the glass to create something. I broke glass, and from those pieces, I would create my own art. In this video, you can see me creating one of my pieces. Sometimes I did cut my fingers when I was working with the glass, which wasn't great, but I powered through. It was difficult sometimes to find the right pieces to fit the artwork I wanted to create. I also used to bake for my friends and family. I still do now, just not as often. One of my favorite desserts that my family likes me to bake are alfajores. Simple ingredients, but hard to work with. My aunt taught me how to make them and gave me the family recipe. When my family gets together for Peruvian Independence Day, I'm able to help her make the alfajores. Along with alfajores, I have made Oreo truffles, a variety of different cookies, key lime pie tarts, an apple tart, muffins, and cake. As you can see, I really enjoy baking. My brothers and parents especially love when I bake. My family and I also love traveling. When my dad was growing up, his dad would take him and his brothers to the Bahamas on their boat. My dad wanted to carry on this tradition, and we now travel to the Bahamas in our own boat. It's an amazing experience that I wouldn't trade for the world. This past summer, I was able to go and I got to swim with sharks and stingrays. I was also able to snorkel out by the reefs and see the many different fish and sea creatures that live there. We also went during lobster season, so we were able to go lobstering, which was such an amazing experience. My brothers and I would go out by the rocks, dive down, and tickle the lobsters out. My brothers would tickle them, and I would have my net ready to catch them. We were definitely tired at the end of the day because of how often we had to dive down to look underneath the rocks and coral. This next video is of me and one of my brothers catching a lobster. The video after that is of a stingray that came right up to me while I was at the